Yeah, we had a fun weekend, didn't we?
Did we?
I mean, yeah, we just like had a Halloween party with like all our friends, and it was great. So,
Oh, yeah.
jogging your memory.
Who did you go as?
Did you get amnesia?
What?
Are you okay? So I went as Katara.
Oh, that's crazy. I went as Aang.
Oh, so you remember your
What
costume.
a coincidence.
That's crazy. It's almost like it was a premeditated couple's costume. Yeah.
Nah.
No.
No. Never.
You would never do a couple's costume with me?
Parallel thinking.
Oh, it was just crazy happenstance.
It was crazy happenstance.
It was such a wild idea that we ordered those costumes from Spirit Halloween 2 days before our party.
Yeah.
That was a mess.
And it's crazy that you ordered both of them. And I just happened to wear one.
You happen to wear the one that I put on your side of the bed.
Yeah.
Here you go.
If you could cosplay as anyone, who would you cosplay as?
Oh, we're talking cosplay? Not just Halloween? Okay.
Halloween, costume, cosplay. There's a logical progression there, I think.
Oh, no, there is. Oh, this shouldn't even be hard. I literally just asked this question. We have a daily question channel on our Discord.
We do.
And I asked this question, and my answer for that, which I'll keep my answer, is Hayes, otherwise known as Fan Lenorn, from Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
That's a good one.
Yeah, her costume's tough.
Yeah, but you give Hayes vibes.
I try. It's just that I'm brunette,
I think I would do the man, the myth, the legend.
I already know what's happening.
What?
I already know.
Say it.
Dr. Maruki.
Yeah. I'm lazy, and it's a lab coat and a tie and khakis.
You could hand out snacks.
Heck yeah. Get some apple juice.
Yeah. No, that would be you in your element. Except, like, not totally, because you wouldn't be giving terrible counseling to students.
Not completely unethical. Welcome to ThoughtCast, the video game podcast. I'm John.
I'm Allie.
And today, we're actually going to be talking with someone who is very familiar with cosplay.
Oh, whoa.
Her name is CrystAAHHL, otherwise known on YouTube and Twitch as CrystAAHHL. And we had some really fantastic conversations with her, and I'm actually really excited to just dive into it, so hit the music! So I'm super excited to announce today's guest. She has made a ton of really spectacular Persona content, from dancing videos to playing them on stream to really anything you can imagine. And so thank you, CrystAAHHL, so much for coming on today. We appreciate it.
Hell yeah! Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So for anyone who might not be familiar with you or your channel, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your content, what you kind of do?
Sure, I can attempt to.
Yeah.
So hi, I'm CrystAAHHL, or CrystAAHHL online, and I stream a lot, play games that are centric around JRPGs and RPGs, and I dance sometimes. That's me. I like to dance in game and model and cosplay, a little bit of everything.
How did you get into like video games in general?
Oh, video games in general. Well, my mom bought me a Game Boy Color whenever I was like 5 years old to get me to shut up so that she didn't have to take care of me. So that was what happened. And ever since then, I became a gamer because I was obsessed. She gave me a Game Boy. She bought me Pokemon Red, Blue, and Super Mario Land 1 and 2, and Donkey Kong Country. And I played the ever-living shit out of them, and I love them. That was the start of the roller coaster and the snowball. And yep, she would just buy me every new thing. Nintendo. It was very Nintendo-centric. Yeah. So Game Boy Color to the Game Boy SP, which was my personal favorite.
Oh,
and then
the SP was premium.
Oh, the SP was the best because that was the game changer with brightness feature.
Yes.
I remember I remember having my Game Boy Advance in bed, and I would play but until I fell asleep every night. And I had my little book light. It was like a little clip I put at the top of it so you could see the screen.
Yeah.
So the Game Boy SP changed my life. I was like, oh my God, the brightness.
Yeah.
I can see in the dark. I can play in the dark. This is crazy. So yeah, I was inseparable with my Game Boy SP. Yeah, so just been playing games ever since. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate
it. Mom's such a real one.
Yeah.
I know, right?
I feel that with the backlighting, though. When we would come back from long road trips, I would have my Game Boy Color, and I would try and angle it so that every time we went under a street light, I could see. And I'd be like, you know, Dad, if you want to drive under more streetlights, that'd be really cool. Like, maybe you should get in, like, the rightmost lane on the highway so I can see a little better. Thanks. I'm trying to catch a Rattata.
Yes, that is, like, the most relatable feeling is you're trying to catch every glimpse of light whenever you're driving in the car. You're in the back seat. You're, like, you know, trying to get whatever you can so you can see your screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I desperately want to play this game, but I just need a little bit more time.
Yeah,
Kids
exactly.
These days, they're so spoiled now.
Yeah.
I know. It's crazy. Man, I can, like, pick up my Switch and it has backlight and everything. That's nuts.
I know.
Technology's incredible.
That's crazy. Good times. I very much appreciate that, like, growing up like that. Very spoiled, but I can't complain.
I feel that, though, because I had 2 siblings. And so while I wouldn't get the games, my brother's like 10 years older than me. And so he would have money to get the games, and I would kind of abduct or abscond with the games. And that's how I would play.
I have 2 siblings as well, and we did that too for a little bit at the beginning. And then my mom caved, and she bought all of us Game Boy Colors so that we wouldn't fight. And actually, it's funny because she bought 3 Game Boy Colors for each of us, and then Pokemon Yellow for each of us. And I somehow have in my possession all 3 of them. I don't know how I got my brothers and sisters, but I just, like, consumed all of them.
Just absorbed every file and every cartridge.
Oops. I have all their files, but yeah, the sibling rivalry of, like, no, this is my game. My mom was like, you know what? Screw it. You guys each get one.
Yeah. That's so funny. With that, what ultimately led to you kind of getting started with creating content online then?
Oof. After I graduated university, I moved in with a friend, and my group of friends at that time had convinced me that I would make a good streamer because of my, like, very exuberant and loud personality. They were like, yeah, you seem like you'd be good for this job. So I was like, I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but sure, I'll give it a try. I was like, are you trying to tell me something? I don't know. So yeah, at that time I actually didn't even have a PC, so that's the first thing I invested in, was getting a really, really good gaming PC. And then I just started streaming. I did start before I bought my PC. I had just my college laptop at the time, and I just started as a cosplay streamer. Actually, I couldn't play games because I didn't have a PC, so I just streamed IRL crafting streams.
Okay.
About
cute.
Yeah, about like 4 or 5 times a week I would do that and just craft any cosplay I was working on until I made enough money from my job to buy the PC. And then I kind of switched to gaming, and now I kind of miss doing my cosplay making streams. They make an appearance every so often. And then just kind of stuck ever since. I had a job at the time, so I was just basically doing my 9 to 5, coming home, and then streaming. And I did that every day for like 6 months. Okay. And eventually the transition happened where my job was laying off half of the people, and I was one of them. After that, I was like, you know what? I'm young and free, and I'm just going to try full-time streaming. It's a totally irresponsible decision, but like I did it. I mean, and there is truth to that too. Like I don't regret what I did, as scary as it was and unreasonable as it was. And I can't believe my mom even let me, but whatever.
Yeah.
But like the best time to take risks is when you're young. So I am grateful to myself for like taking that super scary leap. Like, I didn't bother looking for a new job after getting laid off. I was like, well, streaming is treating me decently, so I will just try to make this a full-time job. And it somehow actually worked out. I think I was just extremely lucky more than anything at the time. And yeah, so I just kept that ball rolling ever since.
I feel like it's one of those things where when you're put in a situation like that, just kind of leaning fully into that choice is kind of sets you up for that it has to succeed mentality. So you figure out like a way for it to work and you kind of like make it work, right?
Exactly. Yeah, your brain tends to, well, not everybody's brain works the same, but mine definitely works better under pressure.
100%. Like when I had graduated from university, Allie and I had just gotten married. I graduated 1 week and then we got married the next week.
Wow, that is crazy.
It was a crazy, like, 8 days.
Yeah. And Mother's Day was smack dab in the middle.
Yeah.
Wow, that is insane. Yeah. I love it.
But I was jobless, like fully jobless. And it was 1,000% like the same kind of deal. I didn't go full-time to content creation, but I was going to be a counselor. I was like, maybe not. Like,
wow.
And I leaned into, like, I work at a university now. You just kind of figure it out when you're kind of in those situations. You just got to make what you've got work.
Yeah, exactly. Because you have to. So yeah, that's just been me all this time. And then I didn't add on YouTube until 3 years ago. So that is more of a new thing. Like I started streaming 7 years ago, 6.5. It's around 6 or 7 years ago I started streaming. And then, yeah, I only added YouTube on 3 years ago because I realized way too late, but like better late than never, that like Twitch has zero discoverability. And if I was going to grow, I had to make YouTube videos. So I just started going ham and editing as much as I could, throwing out there as much as I could just to get like some ball thrown in the park. And I got also lucky with that worked out. Thank you, Persona 5 Royal. Very much appreciated.
Same.
Literally.
Same.
And now I'm here. And it was a really nice transition for me because I've always had like a love-hate relationship with dance. I've been doing it since I was 3 years old. And I went to university for dance. I have a BFA degree in dance and theater. It was nice to bring that back because once I graduated in university, I didn't dance for 4 years. I just kind of like cut it off. And it was nice to figure out a way to bring that back into my content. Yeah. And it really just felt so enlightening. And that's the thing I'm thankful for the most is like just how I was able to figure out bringing my love of dance back into my life, and in a healthy way too, because I've had a lot of unhealthy relationships with dance in my younger years, and then college kind of like repaired the relationship for me a lot. And then after not doing it for so long and then just coming back to it, I don't know, it felt really good, and I'm happy that I can incorporate dance somehow.
It's nice that you were able to get back into it and like repair that relationship.
It was definitely one of the best feelings that I encountered in content creation in general. Like if I had any sense of accomplishment, it was just whenever I put out my first dancing video and seeing people love it. And I was like, wow, okay, well, this feels good. I mean, not only because it performed well, but just because like I was able to successfully put dance somewhere into my current job, which I didn't think was possible.
Was there kind of like a catalyst? Obviously, Persona kind of lends itself well to that.
Yeah, for sure.
But was there a catalyst where you're like, yeah, let's pull the trigger on this? Why not?
I think the catalyst more or less was seeing people really enjoy my Persona 5 Royal playthrough. It didn't pop off for like 6 videos or 5 or 6 videos. They were like, you know, I posted them and they would get less than 100 views for several weeks. And then one particular video goes out and the reactions resonate with everybody. And then the whole playthrough ended up blowing up. So that was definitely like the catalyst. And then from there, what the catalyst was for like the dancing portion was, you know, after that I was like, wow, I never heard of Persona in my life. I just finished playing Persona 5 Royal, and now I want to play all of them. So I was like, obsessed.
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta play Persona 4, I gotta play Persona 3, and
Yeah.
then I gotta play Persona 2 and 1, and then all of the side games. So I did. And
Yeah.
so like, yeah, playing the Persona 5 dancing game was the best thing. Because like, one, I love rhythm games. They're so
Yeah.
much fun. And I genuinely loved playing Persona 5 dancing and the other ones as well.
Mhm.
But then more so, I looked at the dancing in there and I was like, wow, that just really inspired me.
Mhm.
And that was the catalyst. So just playing that game, I was like, you know what? I can recreate this. And it works even better because I am a cosplayer, and that's how I started. I was a cosplayer first, well, in terms of content creation.
Yeah.
That's how I started. And then I gamed second for streaming, but brought cosplay back in as well as dance, just smacked them all together. And I had a beautiful content sandwich that I just felt really proud of, and mainly just because I was able to incorporate everything I loved into one video.
I feel like finding that coalescence of interests is so fun and such a cool aha moment.
Yeah.
Because like I can kind of relate to that, because the thing that made our channel pop off is a strong word, but first thing that got traction for us was the counselor student reacts, if you've seen those.
Yeah, I have.
And it's, thank you, Persona 5 Royal. But like,
yeah, exactly.
Literally.
that kind of was the first thing for me where I was like, whoa, I can integrate my degree with the YouTube channel. That's
right.
Insane.
It does feel weird because, you stream, you don't expect anything from it. And usually it's not, you don't go to school to learn how to stream, no one does that. You gotta like drop some sort of thing that you were learning and just drop everything and learn a new skill. And then, just bringing in that old skill back into your content, I think, is what creates a good content creator, because it separates you from other people, having a skill set that you know how to incorporate into gaming space or whatever your niche is. That's the unique part.
Exactly. It's what brings people back and makes them go, wait, this person's different from everyone else. Like, I like their viewpoint.
Exactly. And it's so important to like stand out in the space. It's so concentrated with so many people wanting to do content creation. But at the end of the day, you have to find out like your strengths and weaknesses and utilize them. And it's cool when you succeed in that.
Yeah. One of your strengths is 100% cosplaying. And I love looking at all of your different cosplays. But the Squape.
Oh my gosh.
It stands out. It rises.
Okay.
I need to talk about it. Like, I need to know what your reaction was to everyone else reacting to it. Because when it came up on my feed, I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
That was wild. Yeah, so I've been cosplaying for a long time, and I used to do like really insane armor builds and complicated things. And then I realized the art of memeing.
Yeah.
And how much I just love to make memes. Like, I just love it so much. So I know that Squapes are a big meme in Final Fantasy XIV, and I wanted to think of a meme cosplay to do for FanFest. So I thought it was a good idea. And so I wear this cosplay at FanFest, and the reactions were just... Oh my god, like I expected the cosplay to pop off a little bit because people love a good meme, but holy crap, like people are bowing. It was the most wild thing. Like I'm walking through the convention and people are like, oh my god, Squape! And like groveling and bowing like, all hail the Squapes, clear the floor. I was like, whoa, I'm like getting princess treatment here. What is happening?
That's so funny.
It was definitely the most like princessy I've ever felt in my life. Like more than like my insane armor builds that I've made.
Yeah.
That one just everyone loved so much. And now I realize like, yep, I think I'm gonna ditch doing like, complicated builds. Memeing is the way. Yeah, it's great.
Memeing is the way.
The way.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've never cosplayed before. I don't even know how to like wrap my head around
It's
the
okay, we'll get you
process.
into it.
Well, yeah.
Soon.
Yeah. But I feel like the insane armor builds are so kind of mind-boggling to just the idea of creating
sure.
that. Is there one that you are particularly proud of, kind of looking back at them?
I think the cosplay, there's two in particular that I'm really proud of. My very first armor build that I ever made was Erza Scarlet, and it was
Mhm.
her main outfit from Fairy Tail.
Okay.
And that one I was just really proud of because like I felt like for a beginner cosplayer making my very first costume and armor build, it was pretty good. Like I
Mhm.
look back at that and I'm like, dang, Crystal, you did actually a pretty good job for your first time. Like holy crap. I gave myself a pat on the back for that one. And then actually the armor build that I had made after that was Lightning from Final Fantasy XIII 2. I just really liked her armor outfit from that game in particular.
Mhm.
Because at the time I didn't really know how to sew. So I avoided the main Lightning outfit that most people know from the first game.
Mhm.
I was like, yeah, I don't know how to sew. So we're not going to make that. But the second game, she's just wearing armor. And I can do that.
Yeah.
So... And that was my first time working with foam. And I even have really good memories of making that in my dorm in university with my 5 other roommates who were questioning what the hell I was making every day in the dorm room.
Yeah.
Because they were not nerds at all.
Yeah.
None of them were gamers. None of them were nerds at all. So they're like just judging me as I am in my corner of my dorm, just making weird things out of foam. And they're like, what the hell are you doing? But I was really proud of like how I built that too, because I think for even my second time and my first time working with foam and second armor build in general, just looking back at that, just the quality was surprisingly pretty good, and I think it might still be better than most cosplays I make nowadays, actually. But yeah, definitely really proud of those older ones in particular. They just have a little special place in my heart.
The struggle of doing anything in a dorm room, I feel like is incredible.
Yeah.
But like kind of going through that process I don't know about yours, but at least Allie and I went to college together, and our dorms, even the big nice ones, were cramped.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, they were very cramped. Our room was supposed to be for 4 roommates in a single dormitory, but they enlisted so many people that year, that so many freshmen, they didn't have enough room, so they squeezed 6 into the 4 people rooms.
Oh my god.
No.
Yeah, it was definitely a nightmare. But yeah, so I just had my like, the stereotypical dorm desk, and that's I mean, it was supposed to be used for like, this is where your laptop goes and you do homework there and stuff. But I was like, no, this is my crafting table, and this is where I'm going to make cosplays. So that's exactly what I did.
I can't find a better use.
Yeah.
Honestly. You mentioned foam, you mentioned sewing. Like, is there a favorite type of method that you like when you make cosplays? Like, are you still more on like the armor side with the foam, or did you get into sewing? Like, I want to know how you make them.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I did get into sewing after that. Yeah, so I would tackle smaller projects that would teach me like little basics of sewing, and I was very careful with it. And at the time I was still living with my mom too, so she was a seamstress and she used to make my dance costumes growing up. So I had her, like, I would just ask her questions, be like, if I want to make this shirt, like, what would I do? So I asked my mom, but like, if I didn't have my mom, I would just use YouTube videos, because nowadays there's just so many resources on how to learn how to do anything.
Oh yeah.
But I was happy I had my mom and that she was willing to teach me as well. Yeah, so I started slowly learning just sewing, how to do it, and then methods. And then I would refine it through university too with the theater program, because I mainly focused in like technical design of theater. So I was mostly in the costume department almost every day. So I just did costumes for theater, and that's where I learned how to like refine my sewing skills, make them professional, and learn how to properly do things. Because like with cosplay, you can BS a lot of stuff, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what it looks like on the inside, it just matters what it looks like on the outside.
Yeah.
And so it was nice to like refine those skills in college. But I will say my favorite thing is still working with foam. I really do find it kind of cathartic to work with foam and make armored cosplays. That does feel like home to me, and I love it and I miss it a lot, but I don't do it as much anymore, which kind of does make me sad. I do mostly a lot of sewing nowadays, which is still fine. I like cosplaying, but I do like wearing armor and I do miss it a lot.
Yeah. And I feel like, well, creating anything, whether it's like a cosplay or, you know, streaming or creating a video, I feel like it's such an interesting process no matter how you kind of go about it, and everyone does it kind of like a different way.
Yes, and that's what I love about it so much, is that I learned so much from just like seeing how other cosplayers make their costumes. I love judging cosplay contests so much because I get to hear the process of what people are doing to create their looks, and I'm like, dang, everybody does it differently, and it's amazing every time.
I didn't realize that you would be kind of like a judge in cosplay competitions.
Oh yeah.
What goes into like judging a cosplay?
How do I word this? Okay, so like I've judged contests in real life twice, and then I've done LunarCon, which is a whole other thing, online convention.
Yes.
So I've done online cosplay judging 3 times now. So like in real life, it's a lot better, obviously, because you can see the costumes up front. But basically, a cosplayer will present themselves and just go like head to toe, how they made everything, the process. And it's okay to have bought things. So people, you know, usually you open up with like, oh, well, you know, I thrifted the base of this piece and then I built off of it. Usually the method is like go head to toe, just talk about each little piece that you made, how you made it. As a judge, you just sit there and analyze how they did something. And sometimes, you know, you can tell people are lying too. So then you poke questions like, oh, well, how did you sew this particular thing? Like, what method did you use? And then you can kind of like, because a lot of people will do that, like pretend that they did something, but then whenever they are put under a microscope and asked to explain a process, they choke up. So yeah, asking questions is really important in the judging process as well. But you don't get that luxury with an online judging experience. So you just got to do the trust system. And on the cosplayer end of things, that's why it's really important to take as many progress pictures as you possibly can.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely want to take a lot of progress pictures of your process. Tells the judges a lot of like exactly at each step how you did it. And yeah, on the judges end, it's more or less just making sure you analyze the inside and out. Because yeah, like I said earlier, like mostly whenever you're making cosplays, it's about the outside. But if you're getting judged in a proper contest, the inside does matter. And usually the methods with how you make things correctly also matters. So yeah, you want to make sure that people are doing things, if not properly, but like in a creative way to where it looks really clean with the end product.
It's an interesting thing to kind of hear it from a judge's perspective. You know, I feel like we're just enjoyers of cosplays whenever we go to like PAX East. We're like, wow, that's crazy. Like, that's cool. But hearing kind of what you as a judge or as someone who creates it, like everything that kind of goes into it. And even, I never even thought about like the process picture, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's super important. Super, super important.
That's so cool. If that's how you judge in person, virtually, how do you do that? Because I imagine, if I had to take a guess, you're talking Final Fantasy XIV, correct?
Oh yeah, very much so. Lots of Final Fantasy XIV with the LunarCon thing. But yeah, so with that, heavily rely on the progress pictures that people submit. Even submitting a video of like you just walking in your cosplay so we can see how things flow when you're moving. That also helps a lot. Sometimes I'll look at a cosplayer's picture and I'm like, oh, I really like how this cosplay looks. But then I'll look at the progress pictures and my opinion completely flips upside down. And that can be vice versa too. Sometimes I look at a cosplay and I'm like, oh, not a huge fan of how this looks. But the progress pictures will change my mind and be like, wow, okay, well, they actually went through proper methods for making this piece. And they kind of did some insane work, like detail work that the final product picture doesn't actually show. That happens so much. And I love being pleasantly surprised by people's progress pictures. That's why they're so important, because they've swayed my opinion on almost every entry that I look at.
Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Because, like, so I work as a graphic designer, And I'll look at some things and go, oh, that's really cool. Like, that's a cool brochure, flyer, like whatever that someone made. But then I sit down with them and I go through the process, or I'll see like whatever process video that they have made, and I'm suddenly like changing my mind and going,
Right?
I don't really understand like why you made those decisions. Do you not have a good understanding of the tools? Like, why did you
Right.
spend so long trying to figure out how to get the background to be transparent? Like, that's kind of an easy skill.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I can see how that could transfer over to other skills in cosplay too. That makes a lot of sense.
And like probably even the inverse too.
Oh
like
my god,
you-
yes, that too.
Yeah, like there's so many things that I'm like, oh my god, wait, I didn't even see that tiny little detail from your
Yes.
final picture. I'm like, wow, you spent so much time on this one tiny thing that you can barely see in a final picture. That's crazy. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
Exactly. I feel that's so hard, like with my own kind of stuff too, so I can see how that makes sense from a judging perspective. You mentioned LunarCon, and so I wanted to know, like, how did that get started? And like what even goes into running an online convention? Because that just blows my mind.
Oh, there is quite a lot of work. So Shenpai founded LunarCon 3 years ago, and basically she approached me back then and was like, "So I have this crazy idea.
Yeah.
I want to do this like small event." And at the time, it was just like, "Oh, I want to run like a little event and make it for her birthday, which was the point, and just have like a big gathering in the game." And at first it was just like for her small, well, not small community. She's a big creator.
Yeah.
So it was for her community, which is pretty sizable.
Yeah.
And then it kind of evolved. Then someone ran in and was like, I will make a website. Because then she was just going to advertise it on a card. And so somebody came in and was like, oh, I'll make an official website for this. And then it just kind of like snowballed from there.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, so you want to make this big online convention in 2.5 months and you have no idea what you're doing, and nobody, like, there's no like structure to this. It's just, I want to do this thing in 2.5 months and it's massive and we haven't started, and what do we do? So I was like, holy crap. So I took the bull by the horns and I was like, all right, we got this.
Let's go.
I kind of like just jumped right in there and almost started like managing and event planning. And I've been doing that job just ever since then, honestly. And as the con has evolved to now what it is, now we're rebranding it to EtherCon. But yeah, that's just like the origin story. And then what goes into it now is the same as before. We're just trying to create more of a structure, because inevitably this convention is just so large. We thought that it would be around 500 people maximum on the first year. So that's the numbers we were expecting.
Yeah.
And then there were about minimum 5,000 people.
Oh.
So it was a lot bigger than we ever thought it was going to be. So it was very overwhelming.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's like, okay, so this is clearly a much bigger thing than just a small community event. So now we got to treat it like it's a big thing and do what we can for like the community at large. So then like restructuring internally begins, because you kind of have to when something is that big. And now we're where we are today, and it's so much. Oh my gosh. Because like I wear a lot of hats for the con through all the changes. So like I'm like the main event planner and organizer, but I'm also like managing, because I'm managing like the 10 plus different staff members that are doing their like moving parts, their departments that they work on.
Yeah.
So it's been very taxing on me to do all these things, but now we are in a much better structural position internally. So now like I should have in the future years, like a lot of weight lifted off of my shoulders with more structure, because it's just been a lot. Like, it's crazy to think that there are hundreds of people that are working behind the scenes with every little thing, whether it's, working with our PvP tournament, which is insanely large, or like our raid our interactive event, which is insanely large. Like, there are literally hundreds of people that are working on something with the convention. So I didn't realize, I learned a lot this year, but I didn't realize just how taxing it would be to manage this much.
Oh, yeah.
For something that large. So it's been a learning process and definitely very stressful at times, but I'm very, very thankful for it as well. And I'm also really thankful that this year we were able to raise money for charity too, because that meant a lot to me. I like the first 2 years I was trying to get us to do it for charity to no success. And then the third year finally was able to do it for charity. So because like it's a free event, we like all of this is volunteer, we don't make any money. I lost like maybe $500 this year because like I just invest into it, I just really want to do it.
Yeah.
Like Final Fantasy XIV is a game that means a lot to me and has changed my life a lot, so it's a way for me to give back, and I very much enjoy that. So yeah, it's just a lot of learning lessons, a lot of moving parts, a lot of stress because of the sheer size of the event, but enjoyable still all the way, just because at the end of the day, it is so humbling to hear stories of people that are like, oh, well, I made my current group of friends through you guys, through going to this convention, or I met my now fiance through this convention. Like, holy crap. Like,
Yeah.
those kinds of stories are just so precious and really just keep me doing what I'm doing in general. Like, just being able to create something that and run something that brings a lot of people together, create friendships and relationships and memories. I think just creating memories for people is one of the most precious things that I can think of to provide. And just that thought alone makes me cry. Just it's I love that impact. It is very, very cool to do that.
I feel like it's such a unique kind of position to find yourself in, to kind of be at, kind of the forefront of something that does mean so much to so many people for this. And I can only imagine like how cool that must be to hear all of those different stories that kind of stem around. And I'll be honest, I just pulled up the amount that you had raised for the Extra Life charity through LunarCon. It was over $10,000, correct?
Yeah, we raised $10,700 in over the 3-day con weekend, which
so cool. That's so cool.
That is absolutely mind-blowing. I didn't even think we were gonna hit 10,000. I was like, oh, we'll probably get around like 7,500 is what I was thinking. I thought realistically it would be around that. So yeah, it feels like a very big accomplishment, because that I've been wanting to raise money for charity for a long time. So just kind of using the event for that, it feels really gratifying.
No, totally.
That's so good. And like kudos for wearing all of those hats and organizing all of this. Like that's insane. And just all the different moving parts and learning as you go. And like people go to school for event planning and you're just out here doing it and getting it done.
I literally stumbled into it because no one was like taking charge, and I was like, okay, I really want this event to happen. I think it's a really good idea.
Yeah.
You know, like whenever you hear like a good business pitch and you're like, yeah, I would invest in that company. Like it was that kind of moment. Like, I'm like, online convention, sign me up. I want to do this.
Yeah. When something just hits your ear and you're like, yes, I'm sold. Like immediately. How can put me in, coach? Like
except it was a cry for help from the group of friends, and I was like, yeah, you guys do need help, so let me just help you. I just kind of like butted in because they needed it.
And I feel like through creating content and creating experiences like this, I feel like it's probably a pretty introspective process too. Through like streaming and cosplaying and doing all of this stuff, what's like something that you think is really cool that you've kind of like taken away from it up to this point? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It's a heavy question, man. No, I love that. I honestly really, really like introspective conversations. It feels really gratifying because like it's not the kind of conversations you have every day. So it feels really special, but Man, just off of like everything I did and everything I've done, like content creation wise in general, you mean?
Well, it doesn't have to be absolutely everything. It could just be like one kind of takeaway that you think is kind of a cool thing that you've learned about yourself through all of this, or maybe even something like with the convention, like something that you never thought that you could do until you kind of took the plunge.
I've had a lot of issues in my life with like self-confidence and
Mhm.
believing in myself. I think that is the coolest part to me, is to see that change in myself over the past 6 years.
Mhm.
From being a person in college that used to genuinely think that I was just trash
Mhm.
and having a lot of self-hate, and being able to use content creation and doing what I do to flip my opinion of myself around. I mean, like, it's a work in progress, but
Mhm.
kind of discovering self-love, because you need to in this job.
Mhm.
Like in content creation in general, you need to have like that confidence in yourself, and you need to have that self-love, or else it's kind of like a losing battle. It's not going to work out without it. So kind of forced me to be in a position where like, okay, Crystal, you got to love yourself, because it, at the end of the day, it's going to make you a more successful person. And I think that can apply to like almost any job too,
Oh yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
not even
100%.
just content creation. So I think that has been like my biggest takeaway throughout this whole journey in general, is just being able to discover self-love and not being as afraid to lean into it.
No, definitely. And I feel like I can kind of relate to that, not necessarily with content creation, but in my job at the university I work with.
Mhm.
Up until very recently, I was very, Allie, Allie's the one I vent to, so she can confirm, uh, ashamed of everything I was interested in, whether it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
Oh, right.
video games or anime or everything like that, to the point that I would actively not talk about it with anyone who wasn't like the closest friend I have.
Oh, 100%. There would be students in like a class that you were leading or something like that, and they would have a shirt that you thought was cool.
Yeah.
And they might even bring it up to you and be like, "Yeah, I really like My Hero Academia," or something like that. And you would just go, "Oh, yeah, I've heard of that." And then you'd come home and be like, "Wow, I really wish I could have just talked to them about My Hero Academia. Like, that would have been really fun. Like,
Yeah.
that would have been really nice." But you had so many walls up.
Yeah.
So, and you've done
Wow.
way better at like breaking down those walls, and like now you even have a whiteboard in your office that says what you're currently playing and watching. So
Yeah.
like 10 out of 10, it's getting better.
Yeah.
Look at us go.
So
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah,
That's
well,
awesome.
but no, I feel like I can kind of relate, because I just kind of wanted to, and every situation, everyone's experience is totally different, but just like I would kind of stifle such a big piece of me
Mhm.
that only came out online, which is on a channel that none of our friends and family knew about,
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So I do think it's interesting how, like, through work and through kind of our experiences, it does kind of serve well to look back and be like, huh, wow, things have changed, and ultimately kind of for the better, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a journey that I feel like it feels good to look back on and be like, yeah, I've learned a lot and I've come a long way, in large part thanks to the job,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
like pushing me in ways that I didn't think I really needed, but I'm really thankful for.
No, totally.
I think content creation is so good for that. And like just making anything in general, like anything at all, because I went to art school, and so when I was studying graphic design and everything like that, they told us right off the bat, freshman year, it's going to be really difficult when you create something and then you put it up on the wall and everyone goes around the room and they critique it. And
Yeah.
they tell you everything
Yeah.
that's good and everything that's bad about it. And it was so hard at first because you pour weeks of yourself into whatever you're making. Even if it's like something stupid, like a little brochure for a national park or something, and it's never going to go anywhere, and it's not even going to go in your portfolio, and you don't even really care about it, but you put so much of yourself and your time and your thought into making it, and then you put it up on the wall and someone goes, "Why did you do it like that?" And it just hurts. It hurts so bad.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how, like, sometimes YouTube comments are, I see, for some people. That's kind of how, like, chat is. It's kind of like if you, I don't know, go up and, like, show off a cosplay and people look at it and they say whatever that they didn't like about it. Like, everything that you create and everything that you are feels like it can be put up on the wall for critique. And being able to look at yourself and the things that you make and being able to say, no, actually, I like parts of that. And then defending it. Oh my God, that was such a turning point in art school. And then I see people do that with themselves too, where they're like, wait, I do like parts of myself, actually. And so, yeah, I don't know. Seeing that happen to people in their everyday and not just like with the content they make or like the art that they put out, and just seeing it with themselves is so special too. And I really like that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, because like you have to develop that whenever you do content creation, just because under the like the amount of views and like scrutiny that you get from random people online. And so like if you don't have that self-confidence and love, or like learn to develop it, you just kind of sink under the pressure of 1,000 voices or hundreds of voices telling you things, or like, you know, negative things that you aren't able to handle. So it's really kind of imperative to get used to that.
Yeah. And I think it's so interesting because 9 times out of 10, it's going to be positive comments, but the one negative is the one that strikes a chord, at least with me.
Yeah, no, you're 100%.
Yeah. And so, shifting gears a little bit, what would you say is the most fun you've had creating content, whether it's on stream or anything like that?
Ooh, the most fun I've ever had.
Yeah.
I know it might sound cheesy, but I do genuinely have a lot of fun with my dancing videos.
Heck yeah.
I think that comes across. I get a lot of people that comment, be like, "You look like you're having the time of your life." I'm like, "Yeah, I really am."
Yeah.
I enjoy my dancing videos so much, and I think that expression just comes off very clearly. I definitely have the most fun there, that atmosphere. But I will say, surprisingly, there's one thing that does come up as particularly sticking out, and it's like this one weird meme video I did where I dressed up as a catchy and I cooked a rice cooker pancake. And I had a ton of fun memeing in that video. Like, it is so hard to describe, but like I really had a lot of fun just doing that.
No,
so
yeah.
Stupid.
If there is one thing you are, it is a memer through and through.
Yeah, like I want to do more of that. Like I did that one video and I meme here and there. Like I love doing April Fool's joke videos, like dancing videos. This year I did Tingle. Last year I did like a really BS Teddy Teddy dance. Like I love just memeing and I want to do more of it. I've shied away from it as I grew, but I'm trying to build that back so that I can do that again, because I love doing the meme stuff. Like the Tingle dancing video was so funny and stupid. And also like the catchy video was just so stupid and I had so much fun. So yeah, like those are also standouts for me, just having a ton of fun doing stupid stuff.
Being able to have the space to just be like, yeah, this is an idea that I personally love. Let's do it. Why not?
Yeah, and I don't care what anyone else says. I am just gonna do it because it sounds like fun.
Yeah. Yes.
That's me in a nutshell. Yep.
I haven't been making as much stuff lately just because like life has gotten crazy. But the one video this year that I like latched onto for whatever reason is about why so many video games in the early 2000s had water. Like there was like Final Fantasy X and Kingdom Hearts and Wind Waker and in Sonic Adventure And
That's true.
they all were based around water. And I
Yeah.
was just like, that's really funny. Let's make a 30-minute video just like talking about why they had water. And like, usually it's like psychology content, but I was like, I don't know, felt oddly passionate about this water.
I love that. That's what content creation should be. You just get this burst of like inspiration and you just act on it. Like
Yeah.
that's the essence of content creation.
Yeah, just like, why second guess it? Like, let's gun. Like,
Yeah. Exactly. You just gun it and do it.
yeah, so funny.
I love
That is
that video.
beautiful.
It's like one of my favorite ones, and you had so much fun making it too.
No,
That's how
yeah.
you know it's good. That's how you know you're where you belong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and you were like look back and you're like, yeah, I had fun with that.
Yeah.
I love that.
kind of with that, and kind of outside of the content creation realm, I suppose. Is there a franchise that you love that just doesn't get the attention that you feel like it deserves to get?
Ooh, okay. This is gonna be a random one.
Okay,
I'm ready.
we're here. We're here for it.
But hear me out.
Okay.
Roller Coaster Tycoon.
So true. So true.
Allie just like sat straight up in her chair.
I loved Roller Coaster Tycoon growing up, and it is the best PC game to ever exist. It was really popular back in the day, but I think it should be more popular today because it still is one of the best games to ever exist.
Oh my god.
And everybody should experience Roller Coaster Tycoon. That's the TED Talk. Thank you.
You really should. Honestly.
Thank you. Thank you. It was worth the money to attend the TED Talk. They might be free. I don't know.
I don't know. I want a dissertation on it.
Yeah.
I want a whole
I
dissertation
can provide.
on. Actually, you know what? That's it. Psychology of Roller Coaster Tycoon. Let's go.
Oh gosh.
No, I like.
It's the best.
I feel like everyone who is really good at marketing has this insane background with Roller Coaster Tycoon because they took it so
Really?
seriously. Yes.
What?
Every time. Because there's that whole business aspect to it too. And it's like,
There is, yeah.
yeah, and it just makes sense. It just
Yeah.
makes sense. And then there's the whole fun side and like trying to like gamify your own park and like set up the systems. And I don't know,
Yeah.
that's where my brain goes because I really like organization. And so, oh my god, I could go on and on. Don't get us in a
Oh.
room together to talk about Roller Coaster Tycoon. Let's go.
It's over.
Oh my god, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do just that.
Yes. That's
I
so
love Roller Coaster
funny.
Tycoon so much. Like, and I don't see anybody playing it anymore. And I'm like, no, this should not be. It should be like Minecraft, a game that just never dies.
Yes.
It'll live on forever.
Exactly. I was so obsessed with Roller Coaster Tycoon that my parents got me a DS game that was called Theme Park, and it was like third party. I think it was made by EA. And it wasn't really good, but they were like, you are so addicted to Roller Coaster Tycoon, you need to just take this around with you. So
Yeah.
I had it on my little DS and I'd play it all the time.
Wait, that's so good.
So I agree with you. It needs more attention.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel validated.
Anytime.
No,
I'm
yes,
here to validate.
yes. It did weirdly fall out of pop culture when it was up there. I feel like with like The
Mhm.
Sims and everything else is just like a
Yeah.
staple that everyone knew and enjoyed for so long.
Oh my god, yeah.
It was iconic back in the day. Like,
Yes.
I was playing Sims 2, but I was also playing Roller Coaster Tycoon probably way more.
Well, yeah. I mean, priorities.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I did play both. But yeah, that was like peak gaming, and I don't think we've peaked since then. Personally, that's just me.
I mean, we got these, Persona 5 Royals, these Tears of the
Ugh.
Kingdoms. Ugh, gross. Disgusting.
Oh my god, that's not Roller Coaster Tycoon.
What has this world come to?
Horrible, honestly. It's unbearable.
It's-
Thank you for listening to my Roller Coaster Tycoon rambles.
Of course.
Outside of obsessing over Roller Coaster Tycoon, what do you enjoy doing outside of the channel? What keeps you sane?
Well, right now I'm currently working on a 3,000 piece puzzle of Lord of the Rings. Like I love puzzles. They keep me sane.
Oh my
Heck yeah.
god, yes. I always say I'm gonna be a puzzle grandma. I can't do puzzles yet because
Oh,
that's
yes.
I know.
I'm gonna be a puzzle grandma, but I'm also gonna be that kind of a grandma that goes out to bingo every Wednesday night, you know?
Yes,
I love
exactly.
bingo.
I have
Like,
never related more with another soul.
I love bingo. I love puzzles. But yeah, the other things that keep me sane is actually crafting. Like crafting really does keep me sane. So
Mhm.
if I'm ever like editing a video and I want to break, it works out that I'm a cosplayer because like I will take a break by making cosplay.
That's so nice.
In a way that's kind of bad because like then work becomes work, but at the same time I don't know, there's just something about making cosplays. Like I've been in a lull the past week.
Mhm.
So what I've been doing is just making as much Persona 3 cosplay as I possibly can. So I got a few characters almost done. It's been soothing.
Finding those things, even if it's work or work adjacent, that's soothing is so like it's just so nice because everyone needs those outlets. And I feel like crafting is one of those outlets that just, it's almost like a universal language of
It is.
everyone has something that they kind of like to craft. It could be whether it's cosplay or Lego or cross stitching, like there's something for everyone.
Mhm.
So we do this thing with two of our friends called a Lego date.
What?
It's so cute.
Where
That
we
is adorable.
And so we all go to a Lego store and buy a Lego set, and then we all go back to one of our places and just make the Lego together.
That is amazing. I love that.
10 out of 10 would recommend.
10 out of 10 would recommend.
Oh my gosh, that is so fun. I want to do it now.
Do it. And I say that as I'm looking at, I have a Frodo and Gollum set where it's like little Lego people from Lord of the Rings that I just haven't built yet. And I'm like, soon.
You're looking at your craft.
Soon.
Thanks you for the inspiration. I am going to take that.
Do it 100%.
It's so nice.
That sounds so soothing and nice and cool.
Yeah. We always like to ask folks, kind of like what you're playing, what you're watching. So, what you're playing, what you're watching.
What am I playing? What am I watching? Well, right now, I don't get to watch much. I mainly just watch a lot of like boring YouTube stuff, more educational because I'm like always looking to learn.
Yeah.
But I have splurged into rewatching The Office because I missed it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
The
so
Office is one of those shows that I feel like can always go on and always should go on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. So that's been beautiful to like, right now I've just been working on my puzzle while watching The Office. And it's just been my beautiful, soothing healingness whenever I'm stressed. I don't know how to describe that.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's horribly worded. Don't judge me. But besides that, so I'm watching The Office, and right now I'm playing, outside from me streaming, I'm currently playing on stream Resident Evil. I'm going through that for the first time.
You're a braver soul than I.
I'm enjoying it, surprisingly. I didn't think I would really be into horror that much, but I'm really digging these games, actually. It's really fun.
I feel like they're such well-made games. I'm just so profoundly a coward that like...
Oh, it's okay, though. Like, no shame, no shame.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, definitely not. But props.
Thank you. So yeah, I'm streaming Resident Evil, but offline I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3. I only get to play once a week with my group that I'm playing. So I wish it was more often, but yeah, so Baldur's Gate 3 every Sunday night. And of course, I'm always playing Final Fantasy XIV for years. I never stopped. I stopped streaming it, but I never stopped playing it.
Everyone needs that like steady game that's always there. Final Fantasy XIV is one of those games that I so profoundly want to get into. But
hit me up if you do.
No, yeah. I so profoundly want to get into, but I'm so scared of what I'll become.
Whoa.
Cuz
That's a good concern.
Cuz I was a RuneScape kid.
Oh.
And I was a WoW kid, and I just know what those games did to my life.
Very fair. Very fair.
I play Final Fantasy XIV anytime there's like a free weekend, because I always have it installed. So I just finished A Realm Reborn.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
One of us.
Yes. And I finished it, and I'm about to start the Heavensward content. And
Oh my god.
I think when it was happening the last free weekend, Allie was looking at me. She's like, "You're gonna get a subscription."
I want you to.
I want to, but I just know we were playing Final Fantasy XIV at the time, and we needed
That's
to play
true.
through. I just can't go down that rabbit hole yet, but I know it's one that I will go down.
Maybe it's for the holidays. Maybe when you have time off work,
Don't say
you
that.
just get all cozy on the couch and just play some Final Fantasy XIV. It's
Yeah.
happening. It's
Yeah.
in the stars.
No, it is in the stars. But
Yeah.
yes.
I want to know play by play how you're enjoying the story as you get to Heavensward, best expansion, free trial, critically acclaimed. Okay, but
See,
I'm sorry I had to.
I messed up though, because I paid for membership once,
Oh,
and so
okay.
I can't go back to the free.
It's okay.
But
I'm proud of you.
thank you. I appreciate that, and you will
Very
get the
proud of
play by
you.
play.
I love hearing people's journeys of like getting started in FF14. It's the best. It's my favorite thing to experience in people.
Yeah, it is. It'll happen.
Who knows? Maybe now that we have a nice gaming PC, maybe I'll play with you.
You can't say that.
Why? Because then it'll all be over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a time sink. Like I purposely got into Final Fantasy XIV in a time in my life where I knew I could dedicate time to it because I knew once I started playing it, it was going to consume me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I would love it so much. So I tried to be smart about it. It worked. I was able to like just play it straight for a year to 3 years. And it was totally healthy, I swear.
Oh yeah, of course. Always.
But it's the best though. Like I don't regret that. I did try to be smart about when I got into it. Now here I am.
It's so tempting because in every game I play, I'm a healer, and healing is so gratifying in that game that it's always.
Oh, I love healing. It's my favorite.
And then, Allie, are you watching anything, playing anything?
Yeah. What are you guys watching?
Well, Spy Family's back. So
Yes.
we've been watching that.
Oh, I have to keep up with the new season.
It's so good. Every episode makes me so happy. I just get like the warm, fuzzy feelings. They make me so happy.
It's
Yes.
a great anime for that.
And then playing, when are we ever gonna beat Kingdom Hearts 2? When am I gonna know the ending?
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
What's that dude's
Eventually.
name? Zigbar?
Yeah.
Yeah, Zigbar's really annoying.
Oh no. That'll be 3. No. That'll be 3 podcasts in a row. We bring up Zigbar.
Listen.
I have no idea. So I think you're in the clear here. I've not touched Kingdom Hearts at all, but I am soon.
So you said I'll give you a play-by-play of Final Fantasy XIV if you give us a play-by-play of Kingdom Hearts, because that's a fever dream experience that
All right, deal.
that I just love hearing about people diving into the chaos and the Disney that is Kingdom Hearts.
The mouse.
That
rat.
Gladly.
But yeah, and then all I'm playing is Cult of the Lamb.
Yeah, you are.
We just fist bumped.
I've heard good things about that game.
It is so much fun. It's such a good game to play in October because it's so autumnal and like kind of spooky, but not in a way that's actually scary. Because it's cute. I adore it. It's getting me in the Halloween mood.
Heck yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I guess it is called Cult of the Lamb. That does sound very like, yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. It's so cutesy. until something just really messed up happens. And like disconcerting, and it's like, huh, you just sacrificed one of your followers, and it was a small bee. Like, okay, cool. Surprise! The lamb's eyes are bleeding. Like,
oh my god!
It's just like, oh, okay, we're here now.
It's like at the end of Kirby games when Cthulhu just appears.
Yeah.
And you're like, what's going on?
What?
But yeah, no. So highly recommend it if you want a cute, wholesome, mildly upsetting time.
Got it. I greatly look forward to it.
Honestly, I think that'll do it for this week's podcast. So thank you so much for coming on. Really, we really appreciate it.
Oh, it's been so great. Like, you both are like extremely lovely. I am so honored to like have had this chat with you guys. Like, thank you so much for inviting me. It's been a pleasure and a half. Like, thank you.
Yay, of course.
You guys are so sweet.
But that'll do it for this week's episode of ThoughtCast. Thank you again so much, Crystal, for coming on. We really appreciate it. And so, if you liked this episode of ThoughtCast, you want to see more of ThoughtCast in the future, make sure to check us out on Patreon, where you can hear our episodes early, because next week we have a treat for you, because we get to talk with some of the developers from Double Fine about their experiences on Psychonauts 2, and it was honestly such a fun conversation. Would you not agree?
It was one of my favorites. It's so... They're great.
But if you want to see that early, make sure to check out our Patreon, where we post all videos and podcasts, and really anything that we can post early, we post early there. And also, if you want to continue the conversation, which we would love to continue the conversation with you, check out the Thought Bubble Discord server, because there's so many awesome and incredible people on there. And while you're at it, why not subscribe to Thought Bubble and the ThoughtCast YouTube channel, just for kicks and giggles, right? But as always, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, a fantastic rest of your week, and why not even a fantastic rest of your month. And we will see you next week. Later.
See ya.